So something I discovered in my final weeks of studying for FAR was this study guide on Reddit. And basically somebody had gone through the CPA Reddit threads and was just kind of tracking and taking note of the different content areas that a lot of people were mentioning and struggling with. And these were areas that, one, are typically more difficult, and they would have a really hard simulation question on the exam, or something that just was definitely for sure you're going to see it come up on the exam a lot. And so they listed it in order of, most mentioned to least mentioned, top to bottom. And for FAR, it was like, the first one is government and non-for-profits. You are definitely going to see a lot of that on the exam. Statement of cash flows, gap to IFRS, adjusting journal entries, bank reconciliations, consolidations, cash to accrual, contingencies, leases, basic and diluted EPS, and percentage of completion. So from top to bottom, all of those are like government and non-for-profit. That's one that you're definitely going to see a lot. Statement of cash flows, not one that you're going to see a lot, but it is a bit more difficult of a concept to kind of wrap your head around. And then, going down the list. So I would say the best way to utilize a study guide is in your final weeks of studying as you're approaching the exam. You've already looked at all the content by this point. You've studied and done multiple choice questions with all of it. Now you're just trying to really fine tune and refine and make sure that you really understand the concepts that are the most difficult and most likely to pop up on exam day. And I think it would be really good to utilize a study guide and just go through and say, okay, this day, I'm just going to focus on multiple choice questions revolving government, not-for-profit. I'm going to really make sure I feel comfortable with it. I'm going to do a lot of sims, making sure I feel comfortable with it. And then another day, I'll focus on statement of cash flows. And then another day, I'll do adjusting journal entries, and just kind of like using this guide as a way to kind of gauge where you are in terms of comfortability and how well you're performing as you are approaching the exam. So there's a study guide for FAR, there's one for audit, and there's one for reg. This was made 5 years ago, so there's also one for BEC, but I know that with the new format of the exam, that's no longer applicable, but I will link all three of those in the comments. So hopefully that helps.